Hello, my name is Gabriel, and I am just a humble farmer from Nebraska. What I'm about to share with you may sound extraordinary, even unbelievable, but I assure you, it is the truth as I lived it. Last winter, I experienced a near-death event that profoundly changed my life. This was not just an out-of-body experience. It was a journey, a revelation that helped me grasp spiritual truths about life, death, and the greater purpose of existence. More importantly, it was a message about what lies ahead in 2025, a vision that I feel compelled to share. What I saw left me in awe, humbled, and admittedly, a little afraid. But I knew it wasn't just meant for me. It was a message for all of us. Allow me to guide you through this remarkable journey. It all began on a bitterly cold morning. I recall waking up before dawn to check on the cattle, the frost biting at my skin, and the air heavy with the scent of damp earth. I had been unwell for weeks, but as a farmer, I was accustomed to enduring discomfort. That morning, as I kneeled down to repair a section of broken fence, a sudden and excruciating pain gripped my chest. My vision blurred, and I collapsed to the ground, unable to move or even call for help. The last thing I remember was the icy ground against my body before everything went black. I thought to myself, this is the end. But then something extraordinary happened. I was no longer cold, and I wasn't lying helpless on the frozen ground. Instead, I found myself standing, yet somehow not in my physical body. It felt as if I had stepped out of myself, leaving behind all the pain and burdens of the earthly world. Looking down, I saw my lifeless body sprawled in the snow as the cattle wandered around me, oblivious. Yet I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel regret or sadness. I was enveloped in an overwhelming sense of peace, as if I were being cradled by a warm, loving embrace. Then I saw it, a light in the distance. This wasn't the glare of the sun or the soft glow of a lantern. It was a light unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It pulsed with warmth and love, radiating a sense of welcome that drew me toward it. I couldn't resist it, even if I wanted to. As I moved closer, the world around me began to fade, and all that remained was this vast, boundless light. Stepping into this light felt like entering a realm where time had ceased to exist, and everything was perfect. In that moment, I began to hear whispers, not with my ears, but with my soul. These whispers spoke of love, hope, and forgiveness, pouring truths into me that I hadn't even known I was searching for. I felt a profound sense of clarity, as if every question I had ever pondered was being answered without words. I didn't know what lay beyond this light, but I knew it was something extraordinary. And then I saw him. Emerging from the golden brilliance was a figure unlike anything I'd imagined. He wasn't like the paintings or sculptures I'd seen in church. His presence was indescribable, majestic yet humble, overwhelming yet comforting. I didn't recognize him by his appearance, but by the love that emanated from him. It was pure, powerful, and all-encompassing. In that instant, I knew it was Jesus. His love moved me to my knees, not out of fear, but out of reverence. He spoke my name, Gabriel, and though his voice wasn't loud, it resonated deep within me, touching every fiber of my being. It wasn't just a sound. It was a feeling, a knowing. Jesus extended his hand to me, and as I reached out, a torrent of emotion surged through me. I felt everything, every mistake I'd made, every hurt I'd endured, every regret I carried. But instead of judgment, I felt forgiveness. It was as if all the weight I had been carrying was lifted in an instant. He told me that my time on earth wasn't over and that I still had a purpose to fulfill. What you are about to see, he said, is not meant to frighten you, but to prepare you. You must share it, for others need to know what is coming. Then he guided me deeper into the light. What followed was a vision so profound it remains etched into my soul, a glimpse into what lies ahead for humanity and for our world in 2025. The image I saw was of the United States. The land itself was familiar to me. The mountains, rivers, and plains were unchanged, but the people were not. There was a heavy atmosphere, a tension hanging thick in the air, as though everyone was bracing themselves for something imminent. I saw the cities, sprawling and alive with movement, but the people within them moved differently. Even in crowded streets, they walked like strangers, disconnected from one another. There was a pervasive sense of fear, an unspoken anxiety, as though everyone was waiting for something to happen. Jesus revealed to me the underlying processes taking place in the nation, the formation of cracks. These cracks were not physical, but spiritual, splitting apart the foundations of families, communities, and trust. The nation's soul appeared to be under attack. Relationships were strained and divisions ran deep. Families were torn apart, and neighbors no longer spoke to each other. Yet, through the darkness, I saw something else. In various places across the country, small pockets of light began to appear. These were gatherings of people who came together to hold hands and pray. They were the ones who had not lost faith and who still believed in love, hope, and the enduring power of unity. Jesus described these individuals as beacons, people who could keep the spirit of faith alive even in the darkest times. He told me that 2025 would be a year of reckoning, a time when people would be compelled to face reality and the consequences of their decisions. It will not be easy, he said, but it will be necessary. He urged me to tell others, to inform them not to fear, but to hold tightly to their faith. He said, faith will serve as their anchor during challenging times. Jesus warned me about the dangers of division, saying, a divided house cannot stand. He showed me images of people arguing, not just about politics or religion, but about small, trivial things. These arguments were not merely differences of opinion. They revealed deeper fractures within their hearts. People had stopped seeing one another as brothers and sisters and had begun to see enemies instead. Jesus explained that these divisions were a tool of the enemy, a way to keep humanity apart and distracted from love and faith. He also showed me the transformative power of unity. In one vision, I saw a small town struck by disaster. People of different races, religions, and backgrounds came together, setting aside their differences to help one another. They showed no concern for the beliefs or origins of others. Their only concern was to provide assistance and save lives. That unity created a light so bright that it pushed back the surrounding darkness. Jesus urged me to tell others, choose love over hatred and unity over division. Only together can you withstand what is to come. In another vision, I saw the earth itself crying out. Hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires raged across the land. Not random disasters, but signs of a planet out of balance. I watched cities submerged in water and forests consumed by flames as people fled in fear. It was terrifying, but through it all, Jesus stood firm. His voice was calm and steady as he said, "These are not punishments, but wake-up calls." He explained that the natural world reflects a state of humanity's spirit. When we are out of harmony, the earth falls out of harmony too. But Jesus didn't leave me in despair. He showed me an image of healing, people planting trees, cleaning rivers, and caring for the land. Their efforts brought life back to barren places, turning wastelands into vibrant landscapes. Jesus said, "Tell them to care for the earth as I care for them." The earth is a gift, and its healing is intertwined with yours. The next vision Jesus revealed to me was about the economy, but it wasn't just about money. It was about values. I saw a bustling city filled with skyscrapers and trading floors buzzing with energy and noise. At first, it seemed like a picture of prosperity, but then cracks began to form. These cracks weren't just physical. They symbolized something deeper. I watched as the people became fearful, their confidence shaken as the financial systems they depended on began to crumble. It wasn't a sudden collapse, but a slow, inevitable unraveling, like a dam breaking piece by piece. Families faced financial difficulties, leading to the closure of businesses. But even amidst the chaos, Jesus showed me something extraordinary, a rebirth. From the ruins of the old systems, new ways of living and working emerged, systems that were not built on greed or exploitation, but on fairness, compassion, and community. People began to value one another more than profit. Small communities thrived as they supported each other, sharing resources and working together for the common good. Greed was no longer the foundation, but fairness and compassion began to emerge. I saw people bartering goods within their communities, trading not just out of necessity, but as a way to connect and support one another. Jesus explained that people should pool their resources and help one another without expecting anything in return. Systems built on greed, he said, will crumble because they are constructed on sand. Whatever comes next must be built on truth, love, and fairness. He explained that the economic challenges of 2025 would test humanity's priorities. Would we cling stubbornly to outdated systems, or would we embrace a future rooted in kindness and mutual respect? Tell them, he said, that abundance does not come from hoarding, but from giving, sharing, and trusting in God's provision. As we move further into the light, Jesus revealed another vision. This time, it was of people who shone, not with physical light, but with spiritual brilliance. These were the chosen ones, individuals who had awakened to a higher purpose. They weren't necessarily wealthy, powerful, or famous. In fact, many were ordinary people, teachers, farmers, doctors, and students scattered across the United States, each illuminating their corner of the world with extraordinary faith. Their light shone brightly, cutting through the darkness of fear and despair. They were not perfect. Each had flaws and struggles, but what set them apart was their unwavering connection to God. They prayed, meditated, and lived intentionally, inspiring others to seek the same peace and clarity. Jesus outlined their crucial role. In 2025, these selected individuals will lead others through challenging times. They will lead with faith, and many will look to them for strength. He showed me gatherings of these individuals where they shared their stories of spiritual awakening. They supported one another, offering guidance and encouragement. These gatherings weren't limited to traditional churches. They happened in homes, parks, and even online. Jesus said, "Every soul can be chosen if they open their hearts and seek the truth." The next vision Jesus revealed was unexpected and unsettling. He showed me a world increasingly dominated by technology, where machines could think and perform tasks that once required human hands. At first, it seemed like a miracle of progress. Robots took over repetitive labor, screens connected people across the globe, and life seemed easier and faster. But then Jesus revealed the darker side. People were becoming slaves to their devices, losing touch with the real world and with one another. I saw ethical debates over whether machines should replace humans. Artificial intelligence was entrusted with decisions of life and death, and it was clear that this power came with consequences. Jesus explained, the problem is not technology itself, but how it is used. Technology is a blessing, but it can also become a trap if misused. He urged me to share examples of how technology could uplift rather than harm. He showed robots assisting the disabled, apps teaching kindness and empathy, and virtual spaces fostering genuine community. The future depends on how you choose to use these tools, he said. Tell them to use technology wisely, to build rather than destroy. As a farmer, I've always believed in sowing seeds for the future, and Jesus showed me that the youth of 2025 would be those seeds. I saw classrooms and playgrounds filled with vibrant, energetic children and young adults. They were brimming with creativity, hope, and determination, unburdened by the fears and doubts of previous generations. They saw challenges as opportunities to innovate and grow. However, Jesus also warned me about the influences surrounding the youth, both positive and negative. Social media, peer pressure, and a lack of guidance were leading some down dangerous paths, causing them to lose their way. But alongside this, he also showed me young leaders rising up, individuals with courage, vision, and an unshakable sense of purpose. The youth are the hope of tomorrow, Jesus said. Nurture them, guide them, and believe in their potential. I saw a future where these young people, if properly supported and inspired, could create a world rooted in compassion, unity, and faith. It was clear that the choices made today would shape the world they inherit. Communities are developing programs to mentor young people, teaching them the values of compassion, responsibility, and resilience. Jesus urged, "The strength of the nation is in your hands." His next vision focused on the children's future, which was tied closely to the earth itself. Jesus showed me forests stripped bare, oceans polluted, and skies choked with smog. It was heartbreaking to witness the destruction of creation's beauty, but then he revealed something even more profound, the resilience of the earth. I saw rivers running clear again, trees flourishing in once barren wastelands, and animals returning to their natural habitats. This transformation was not automatic. It was the result of human effort. People began to understand that caring for the environment was not optional. It was essential. Farmers adopted sustainable practices, cities implemented green technologies, and individuals made small changes that, over time, had a monumental impact. Jesus said to me, "The earth is my gift to them, but they must cherish it." He emphasized that healing the planet begins with healing their hearts. He demonstrated how even simple acts of kindness, like planting a tree, cleaning up a beach, or reducing waste, could have far-reaching effects. Standing in awe of this vision, Jesus said, "Tell them that when they heal the earth will heal itself." It was a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness between humanity, nature, and God. As I walked through this vision, I saw how nature reflected our spiritual connection to one another and to the divine. Further on, Jesus showed me a troubling vision. I saw people standing on platforms, preaching to large crowds. At first glance, these leaders seemed confident and persuasive, like spiritual guides leading others toward the light. But then Jesus placed his hand on my shoulder and said, "Okay, look closer, Gabriel." When I did, the image shifted. A darker reality emerged. These leaders were not spreading truth. They were sowing confusion. Their words were filled with half-truths and deliberate manipulations meant to control the crowds who were desperate for hope and guidance. Jesus warned me that false prophets would lead people astray, exploiting their fears, especially during the challenges of 2025. These deceivers would wear the mask of faith but work against it. He showed me how to recognize their true intentions. Their actions, not their words, reveal their hearts. Look for humility, compassion, and honesty in those who claim to serve me. True servants will serve others, not themselves. In another vision, I saw people standing firm, resisting these deceptions. They prayed for clarity and wisdom, turned to Scripture for guidance, and trusted in their faith. Jesus said, "Faith is the armor they need. It will help them see through the lies." He urged me to remind others of the importance of maintaining a personal connection with God and relying on their inner discernment rather than blindly following anyone who claims authority. "Share this with them," Gabriel said. "The truth will always shine through." Even as this vision of falsehoods unsettled me, Jesus offered hope. He showed me scenes of hardship, floods destroying homes, illnesses affecting families, and entire towns facing scarcity. Yet, out of these struggles, something beautiful emerged: compassion. I witnessed neighbors helping neighbors, strangers opening their doors to those in need, and communities coming together like never before. One moment stood out: a woman who had lost everything in a storm. Jesus said, "Gabriel, this is the power of compassion. It is what brings humanity together." He explained that compassion is the glue that binds people, even in the darkest times. The challenges of 2025 would test humanity's ability to care for one another. "Tell them about that, Gabriel," Jesus said. Resilience is not found in isolation, but in unity. He showed me small, heartfelt acts of kindness: a man repairing a stranger's broken fence, a child offering their last piece of bread. Jesus emphasized how even the simplest gestures could create ripples of hope, fostering a sense of community and shared strength. During the darkest times, they must support one another, he explained, because no one can weather the storms alone. However, he also issued a warning against selfishness. Those who turn inward and hoard for themselves will be left empty, he said, but those who give freely will find abundance. In the next vision, Jesus showed me a room bathed in radiant light. At its center were people kneeling in prayer, their eyes closed and hands clasped, their faces serene. The atmosphere was filled with an indescribable sense of peace. Jesus turned to me and said, "Gabriel, this is where true strength lies." He explained that prayer and meditation are not mere rituals, but lifelines. "Tell them, Gabriel, that they can connect with God through prayer. By opening their hearts and quieting their minds, they will hear my voice," he said. He showed me how even those who had lost everything found solace and direction through these practices. Although their external circumstances had not changed, their spirits were renewed. They remained calm, hopeful, and resilient in the face of their challenges. Jesus then revealed something extraordinary, the transformative power of collective prayer. I saw communities gathering in parks, homes, and even online. As they prayed together, their light grew brighter with every word, pushing back the surrounding darkness. When they pray as one, their strength multiplies, he said. But prayer is more than just asking for help. It's about listening and aligning their wills with mine. He emphasized the importance of meditation as well, saying, "In the stillness, they will find clarity. The noise of the world drowns out my whispers, but in silence, they will hear me." Jesus encouraged people to establish a daily practice of prayer and meditation, even if it was only for a few minutes. Tell them, Gabriel, that this is how they prepare their souls for what lies ahead. The next vision was subtle, yet deeply moving. Jesus showed me people going about their daily lives, surrounded by signs and synchronicities. In one instance, I saw a grieving woman praying for comfort after losing her husband. She discovered a white feather on her windowsill, a silent yet profound reminder that she was not alone. Another man struggling with doubt saw a rainbow emerge during a storm, giving him renewed peace and reminding him of God's promises. Gabriel, Jesus said, "I am always speaking to them, but many do not recognize my signs." He revealed that these signs could take many forms, repeated numbers like 111, 444, or 777, as well as small objects like coins, feathers, or the appearance of certain birds. "These are not coincidences," she said. "They are my way of reaching their hearts. Tell them to pay attention." Jesus explained that synchronicities would become more frequent as the veil between worlds grew thinner by 2025. As more people seek a spiritual connection, I will speak to them through their hearts. They must trust their intuition. He encouraged them to keep journals to record the signs they received. By reflecting on the meaning of these signs, their faith will grow stronger. In the final vision of this series, Jesus showed me a man weighed down by a heavy sack filled with stones. Each stone represented a mistake, a regret, or a burden he carried. His steps were slow, his shoulders sagging under the immense weight. Then Jesus approached him and gently touched the sack. In an instant, it vanished. The man stood tall, his expression filled with a profound sense of relief. Jesus turned to Gabriel and said, "Forgiveness is the greatest gift they can give to themselves and others. It allows them to let go of the past, which weighs them down." He showed me images of people reconciling, parents embracing estranged children, friends apologizing after years of silence, and individuals forgiving themselves. Jesus explained that forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means releasing the burden of pain and resentment. Forgiveness, he said, is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. He went on to explain that forgiveness heals not only relationships, but also the soul. When they forgive, he said, they create room in their hearts for love and peace. Jesus encouraged me to share this message with others, saying, "Gabriel, tell them about forgiveness. It is the key to freedom. While they cannot change the past, forgiveness gives them the power to shape their future." As I watched this vision, I felt my own burdens begin to lift, understanding that forgiveness is a gift that we all are empowered to give. Then Jesus showed me a vision of the United States, not as the divided, struggling nation I had seen before, but as it could be. He described it as a shining example of what humanity is capable of achieving. This country has the potential to be a beacon of light, he said, because it was founded on principles of liberty, hope, and faith. In the vision, I saw Americans coming together, united not by their differences, but by shared values. Faith leaders from various denominations worked hand in hand, guiding their communities with humility and love. This unity inspired other nations to follow suit, creating a ripple effect of hope and cooperation across the globe. However, Jesus also cautioned me about the challenges ahead. George, the United States stands at a crucial juncture. It has the opportunity to lead with compassion and faith, but it can just as easily be undermined by fear and greed, he said. He explained that the choices of the country's leaders, both spiritual and political, would be critical in shaping its future. Tell them to choose leaders who follow my teachings, not their own ambitions, he emphasized. Jesus reminded me that the strength of a nation lies not only in its leaders, but also in its people. Encourage them to pray for their country, to act honorably, and to lift one another up, he said. If they embrace faith, unity, and love, the United States can fulfill its destiny as a global beacon of hope. The vision then shifted to a storm, a fierce, unrelenting force tearing through the land. People were terrified, running for safety, clutching their loved ones amidst the chaos. Yet, within the turmoil, there were those who stood firm. These individuals were not immune to the storm. They felt its force just as strongly as anyone else. But instead of fleeing, they held hands, prayed, and faced the winds together. Jesus turned to me and said, "Gabriel, fear is the enemy's most powerful weapon, but faith is the strongest shield. Tell them not to fear the changes that will come in 2025. He explained that fear paralyzes, while faith empowers. If they believe in me, he said, I will give them the strength and courage they need to endure. I saw powerful examples of faith overcoming fear, families rebuilding their homes after disasters, communities sharing resources, and individuals finding peace through prayer. Jesus reminded me that challenges are not meant to destroy, but to refine. Gabriel, convey to them that life's storms present opportunities for transformation. Even in the darkest moments, they can find hope. Jesus also encouraged people to support one another, reminding me that faith is not a solitary journey. Tell them to rely on one another, he said, because where two or more are gathered in my name, I am present. This vision left me with a deep sense of peace, knowing that no matter the challenges ahead, hope will always triumph over fear. The visions began to fade. Jesus turned to me and said, Gabriel, your time here is not over. You must return and share what you have seen. A wave of sorrow washed over me. I did not want to leave the warmth and peace of his presence. His words gave me purpose. In the vision, I saw myself waking up on the cold ground where I had fallen, my heart heavy with pain. The attack had subsided, replaced by a strange, comforting warmth. My wife, Sarah, was there. I could feel her standing over me, crying and desperately calling for help. It was then that I realized I had been given a second chance, not just to live, but to live with purpose. Jesus told me that my story would inspire others. Share it boldly, without fear, he said. He showed me the faces of those who would hear my testimony. Some were skeptical, others hesitant, but many were filled with hope and optimism. As they seek their own connection with God, the truth will resonate in their hearts, he assured me. As I returned to my body, I felt an overwhelming sense of trust in my ability to guide them. I was filled with gratitude, not just for my life, but for the opportunity to share my experiences. I knew the path ahead would not be easy, but I understood that the choice to walk it was mine. Jesus then gave me a vision of preparation, a vision for the days to come. I saw people from all walks of life, farmers, teachers, workers, and leaders, gathering to discuss how they might face the challenges of 2025. They were not merely talking, they were taking action. I saw them planting gardens, building shelters, and praying together. It was a powerful image of unity and hope. Jesus said to me, "Tell them to prepare." Preparation is not an act of fear, but an act of trust. It is a way of saying they believe in a better tomorrow. He showed me practical steps people could take to prepare. They saved resources, learned new skills, and built stronger communities. But Jesus also emphasized the importance of spiritual preparation. He encouraged them to strengthen their faith, pray daily, and seek His guidance in all they did. He warned against complacency, reminding them that while the challenges ahead would be great, the rewards would be even greater. Focus on preparing not just to survive, he said, but to thrive. Love, faith, and community are more valuable than material possessions. Gabriel, the treasures of this world will fade, but the treasures of the Spirit will last forever. In the final moments of my journey, Jesus gave me a vision of what the world could be. It was not perfect, but it was breathtaking. I saw people becoming kinder, more connected, and deeply attuned to the divine. Families worked together to rebuild their homes and their lives. Communities united, and children laughed freely, their joy lighting up the world. The earth itself seemed to thrive. Rivers once polluted ran clear. Forests once barren grew lush and vibrant, and the scars of the past began to heal. It was a vision of hope, a promise of what could be if humanity embraced love, faith, and unity